California Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a stark warning to the Democratic Party. Without a deep and honest reckoning of its failures in the 2024 election, the party risks repeating its mistakes and remaining in the political wilderness. In an exclusive interview with The Hill on Monday, Newsom expressed frustration over the party's lack of introspection following its devastating loss of the White House, Senate majority, and failure to reclaim the House majority in November. His candid remarks highlight a growing divide within the Democratic Party as it grapples with its identity, leadership, and strategy ahead of the 2028 presidential race. Newsom, a prominent figure often mentioned as a potential 2028 Democratic presidential candidate, didn't mince words. "We have not done a forensic of what just went wrong, period, full stop," he said, emphasizing that no meaningful party-wide discussion has taken place to analyze the election's failures. Representing California, a state with a population larger than 21 other states combined, Newsom noted that even his state has been excluded from these conversations. "I can assure you there's not been a party discussion that I'm aware of that has included the state of California," he added, underscoring the party's disorganized approach to self-assessment. The governor's critique went deeper, questioning the very essence of the Democratic Party. "I don't know what the party is," Newsom admitted, reflecting a broader uncertainty about its core values, leadership, and direction. This lack of clarity, he argued, is a critical barrier to rebuilding trust with voters and crafting a winning strategy. Newsom stressed the need for accountability, warning, "If you don't learn the lessons of the past, you will repeat them." His call for a forensic conversation, to stress-test the party's failures, signals a push for a more disciplined and reflective approach to political recovery. Newsom also used the interview to challenge stereotypes about California, positioning it as a microcosm of the nation rather than a liberal enclave of Hollywood and Silicon Valley. "For those that think California is just a coastal state, we have 150% more AG hunting forestry jobs than the next state," he said, highlighting the state's rural and working-class communities. His frequent visits to California's Central Valley, he noted, have shaped his understanding of diverse voter perspectives, even if they haven't always translated into electoral gains. "My state of mind is deeply entrenched in this rural mindset," he said, suggesting that his governance experience equips him to connect with voters beyond coastal elites. The governor's recent venture into podcasting has sparked both intrigue and controversy. Hosting This Is Gavin Newsom, he has welcomed polarizing conservative figures like Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon, a move that drew sharp criticism from some Democrats. Newsom defended his decision, arguing that engaging with opposing voices is essential for understanding the MAGA movement's success and modernizing Democratic outreach. "The reaction when I had Charlie Kirk and Bannon on was exactly to me exhibit A of what I feel is wrong right now with my party. An unwillingness to even engage in platform to listen," he said. He believes Democrats must study the strategies of influential conservative voices who have shaped the political landscape, particularly those resonating from the White House. Newsom's podcast, he explained, is a deliberate effort to listen to a broad spectrum of perspectives. "I'm testing that," he said, acknowledging that the backlash has been a little more bumpy than I even anticipated. Yet, he remains committed to the experiment, viewing it as a way to bridge divides and learn from the party's electoral setbacks. His approach contrasts with the insular tendencies he perceives within the Democratic Party, which he believes hinder its ability to adapt and compete in a rapidly changing media environment dominated by conservative personalities. The interview also touched on the electric rallies led by progressive icons Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which have drawn massive crowds nationwide. Newsom praised their energy, calling it great and reflective of the zeitgeist that voters crave. However, he expressed skepticism about whether this progressive fervor can translate into a national electoral victory in 2028. "In the Democratic Party, that's where the energy is," he said, drawing on his Bay Area roots. "But I don't know that an electoral victory from a prism of 2028 lies there." While admiring Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez's ability to galvanize crowds and restore pride in the Democratic experiment, Newsom cautioned that their brand of progressivism may struggle to secure the Electoral College. When asked about Vice President Kamala Harris's 2024 campaign, Newsom was diplomatic, refusing to pinpoint a single mistake. "I'd be unfair in answering that," he said, noting the extraordinary challenge Harris faced in mounting a 107-day campaign after President Joe Biden's withdrawal in July. "I thought they ran a remarkably effective campaign, and all her strengths were there," he added, deflecting criticism and focusing on the structural difficulties of the abbreviated campaign timeline. As Newsom prepares to leave the governor's mansion in 2026 due to term limits, his national profile is rising. His fundraising prowess, having raised over $21.5 million for Democrats in 2024, and his confrontational stance against Republican policies have made him a formidable figure. However, skepticism persists about whether a California Democrat can overcome the state's liberal stereotype to win a presidential election. Some analysts argue that Newsom's podcast and willingness to engage with conservatives are strategic moves to broaden his appeal, particularly in purple states. The road to 2028 will test Newsom's ability to navigate these challenges. His call for a Democratic autopsy reflects a broader urgency to redefine the party's message and strategy. Whether his vision resonates with voters beyond California remains an open question, but his latest remarks signal a determination to shape the party's future, and his own.